Well, hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Holly with the Nutsa Valley Farmhouse, and today we're going to do a little bit of harvest homemaking. I figured I'll bring you along today as we kind of do some canning and kind of talk about what I am planning on preserving this year. So if I'm being honest, like when the kids started going back to school, we had a really bumpy first 2 weeks of school, I should say. My first grader apparently woke up sick on the first day of school, so poor guy didn't get to go to school, and it was kind of a bummer because I was kind of looking forward to kind of getting back in that routine. And so we've just had some snares, some sick kids, some kids with some just dealing with like the new school and stuff, because I have 2 in middle school this year. So between you and me, it's been a little bumpy, and we're just trying to kind of find our groove over here. So it's kind of affected a little bit of like what I was planning on doing. I haven't really been able to do as much preserving as I've wanted to. So I don't know. I'm trying to figure out like what exactly our plans are for pretty much the rest of September. I'm trying to kind of get organized and stuff. We've had, even my parents have been staying with us. They have a camper that they we're staying in the driveway, but long story short, there was like a major broke, and they weren't able to stay in it at night because their bathroom in the camper basically was unusable. So we are working on getting that fixed. So then just having them in the house just kind of has thrown my whole routine off. I mean, it's fine, it's life, but it's just kind of the reality sometimes. And I guess it's not really a snag, but kind of another thing that have kind of affected my decision, so to speak, has been the fact that the fruit place that we got our bulk fruit from, their prices went up, which of course is expected because everything is still, like I said, around, like everything is still going up, and I understand that they, it's just the way it is. So I was a little disappointed because I wasn't able to can as many peaches as I was planning to. I was hoping to do at least 2 flats, but because of the prices, I only was able to do 1 flat. So this morning I am making waffles because I am, because waffles are fun, and I think I was just trying to use up stuff. So there's some blackberries that we picked a little while ago, and we are going to use them with the waffles. I actually would like to do one more. We still have a few more blackberries left, and that's another thing that I just haven't been able to get to because I've been running 1 kiddo to cheer practice, 1 kiddo, like I said, we had some sick kids, and so doctor's appointments and all the things. So it's just really kind of affected everything. So kind of before I do my canning today, I'm just trying to tidy up. We still have some balloons left over from a party we did, and so I'm just kind of putting them away for now until I can find a way to. I basically just put on some earmuffs, and then I'll just pop them all and throw them away because that's how I do it. The kids got a little overboard with the balloons, and so I was like, well, we're just gonna have balloons for a while. So yeah, so basically this morning I'm just kind of getting my whole living room tidied up. I'm working on basically I'm trying to get the downstairs somewhat put together. And so my goal today is I was hoping to can peaches, and I also got a flat of canning tomatoes because I'm going to make it's called stewed tomatoes. It's a recipe. I'll see if I can link the recipes below for what I've used. But I've also watched somebody that did like a canning thing with peaches, and she did it a lot simpler than what my recipe calls for. So I'm actually thinking of like trying that and seeing how it works, because basically my recipe calls for making simple syrup, and then my recipe calls for making simple syrup. It's like sugar and water, and you kind of mix it up, and then you pour it over the peaches. The way this person did it is they just put like a tablespoon of sugar and then filled it with water, and I'm like, that's super easy. So here's my current garden currently, and I have some apples on the tree that I will need to be harvesting soon. They are pretty close to being ready. And so this is my canner. It's a Presto canner. I'm trying to think, I don't know how big it is, but it cans 4 quarts or 6 pints at a time. These flowers, my sunflowers, these are my tall sunflowers, and they're finally blooming, and I'm so excited about it. I still have a lot of yellow zucchini. I'm planning on actually canning some more. I've canned some, and then my tomatoes are finally starting to ripen, but I'll be honest, I'm really kind of disappointed in my tomatoes this year. Last year I had a bunch, and I still get a couple cucumbers here and there. We've had kind of an unseasonably warm September, so I really need to get out and water my garden a little bit more. And we still have a few blackberries. I'm going to try to kind of pick some more this week, but I'll be honest, you guys, I'm just kind of trying to kind of find my groove, and it's been a little difficult. This is something that I feel like I was not expecting to struggle so much with in the beginning, because I figured when school started, it kind of forces that routine, so to speak. But I just find myself, it's been constant, I feel like little things that have to be addressed. So I'm hoping to finally kind of get into a good groove. We're actually going on a little girls' weekend this weekend, kind of our last official thing at the end of summer. It's just going to be like a 2-night thing, but I'm really excited about it because I don't get to go out and do these things very often. So getting my quart jars, because we love peaches, and so I use quart jars because they're just so much easier to because we go through them so much, and I'd rather do that than can a bunch of pint jars, and we'd be eating like 3 or 4 pint jars at a time. So this is my big old box of fruit, and the peaches were perfect. I actually was really impressed. I don't think we actually had any peaches that were really looking funky. One of my friends last year, they actually went directly to the farm. So I get this from our local farm, and they do like a bulk fruit pickup, and basically they source it from other farms that are close by. Where I live, there's probably like an hour and a half away, there's kind of an area where a lot of fruit farms are. And so my friend went to that area and picked a bunch of fruit, or he got fruit, and I guess when he got home, pretty much all his peaches were bad. And so I felt so bad for him, because he paid good money for those peaches, and of course he thinks that they were put in a cooler, and the cooler got too cold, and then they kind of half froze, because he says that the texture was off. So I was really happy that all our peaches were good, but I was kind of disappointed in the price. So full disclosure, it was a flat, and it was 20 pounds, yes, and it was $50, you guys. And what frustrates me the most is the week before, we were just going to be busy that weekend, so I wasn't going to be able to go pick up fruit. They were only $36. So if I'd have waited, if I'd have bought them the first week I saw them, they would have been cheaper. And I think that really kind of rankled me. Obviously, there's a reason why the prices went up. Obviously, I don't know, but so instead of, because I was planning on doing like 2 flats, but instead of 2, I'm just going to do 1. I mean, realistically, generally you can buy peaches cheaper at the store that are fairly healthy and whatnot, but I really I feel like these peaches were at the peak of freshness, which I feel like sometimes can be hard to do, at least for me. Sometimes it's hard to get, especially at the store, peaches that are perfectly ripe. And I feel like when you can them at this perfectly ripe stage, they taste the absolute best. I absolutely love them. So they turned out really well. We ended up having 1 extra jar that we didn't can, that we just ate directly, because I think I ran out of the simple syrup. So but yeah, so I was only able to do a few jars. I wasn't able to do the full, like I said, I was going to do 2 flats of peaches. And now it's to the point where peaches are kind of getting to the point where they're not as, they're getting out of season, I guess I should say. But I'm a little disappointed, because my husband really wanted apricots, and I was really hoping to find apricots, because for him, he grew up in fruit area up in Canada, and so apricots, I guess, is one of his favorite things to do. And he was very, how do I put it delicately? That was just his favorite fruit. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a little early over here. I'm trying to do so many things today. So so I was hoping, but they had no apricots available. So I was a little disappointed about that. We have an apricot tree, but our apricot tree is, long story short, the dogs a few years ago actually chewed it down to nubbins. We did not know that they would do that. Apparently they like the sweet wood or something, and so it's bounced back, but it's not bearing any fruit. So we're trying to figure out how to either prune it properly or whatever. So we just have a big, beautiful apricot tree that doesn't grow apricots, and it's really frustrating. So I start by putting my quart jars in my canner. This can's up to 4 quarts or up to, what is it? I think it's 6 pint jars. And so I really like it. I do have another water bath canner, but the issue with doing canning on like a glass top stove is I've been told you shouldn't do it, but then I've seen other people do it, so I think maybe a water bath canning might be okay, but I guess there's concern about it possibly breaking your stove, and obviously I don't want to do that. So I'm just packing up the peaches, and it went really fast. I think I ended up with about 7 jars. I'm trying to think, because I think the 8th jar, like I said, wasn't a full jar and we ran out of simple syrup. But I feel like peaches is a pretty easy one to can. I think I do mostly water bath canning. I do want to kind of learn how to do some more, how do I put it? One of my goals, and it might be something that I'm gonna have to do a little bit later in September. We'll see. I don't know. I'm really trying hard to kind of stay on top of things, but I just feel like kind of getting to that new routine after school started. I was expecting it to be easier, and it has not been easier. I feel like there's just so many things that need to be addressed. So I do pressure can a little bit. I would like to this year do some like canned soups. When this is being filmed, it was right before we got our 3rd of a cow. So I was trying to kind of figure out how to clean out some of our freezer space. The nice thing is though, because we have 2 freezers in our house, I would like to get another one, but right now we just have the 2. And so we moved some stuff to the other freezer since we've been using up the chicken a little bit, so there was room. But I'm trying to figure out how to do more canning of like pressure canning things like soups and meats. The problem is though, they take a long time to can, and this canner takes like an hour and a half to fully cool down, which is good, but it's also like, it just takes time, so you have to really plan for that. So I did peaches, and then I did tomatoes. I made this stewed tomato recipe because I got 20 pounds of tomatoes, and it turned out really good. And I use the stewed tomatoes to make all sorts of things. They're kind of like diced tomatoes. I use them to go in like spaghetti sauces to make it chunkier, or just as themselves. They taste really good in just all sorts of dishes and casseroles and stuff. So I was really excited about that. So yeah, so I ran the canner basically twice that day, and that is one thing, like I said, it's kind of on the small-ish side, but it's not bad, and I feel like it works really well for what I need it to do. So for me, a lot of canning is mostly for fun. Like, I don't necessarily need to can, but I also find it's a little bit for practice, because eventually someday I'm going to have a full-blown orchard, a full-blown garden, and I will be canning a lot more than I have been lately. But I feel like getting bulk fruit and stuff has been just a nice way to kind of practice, so to speak, and be able to get used to learning how to can and get comfortable with it. So there's my 7 jars. They are now cooling, and I am so excited to finally kind of get some stuff completed this week. Like I said, it's been a little touch and go. So thank you guys for coming along with me. It's been kind of a crazy couple weeks, but hopefully things will settle down soon. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.